Hello. I'm now no longer muted. Hi, everybody. It's Mr. Delaney. It is Friday morning, June 5th. There are 2 more Fridays left in the school year. It feels very odd, to say the least. I feel like a bunch of days never happened. But we're here. And I have a few poems to read for you today. I have two from Imperfect, and I have three from Brown Girl Dreaming. I thought it apropos to read some of Jacqueline Woodson's work. She is wonderful, as I always say she is every time I read her. And I feel like it is what we need right now. So, from Imperfect, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to read from Imperfect. I kept looking and looking to see if I could find something. So, for right now, My Grandfather's Hand by Diane Tendig. My grandfather's hand had no thumb, no stump, dug out at the joint, its absence leaving a strange shape from his forefinger to his wrist. From the cellar steps, I watched him build a perpetual motion machine. Carpenter's toys, my doll bed, was lacquered jet red by the hand I had never minded at work. But I hated it whenever he leaned to kiss me. Now he is gone, but I see his difference differently, remembering how nobody else ever held my face so gently. Let that one just sink in with everybody. And this one, trying to fit it next to the camera. This one is called Everyday Wrongdoings. Mom taps her foot. Arms crossed, she looks down at me, the way only she can, making me feel that way, like only she can make me feel. This was not a major transgression, not like the time I broke my sister's finger, or I let the dog out and he ran away, or I dropped an entire pot of soup on the kitchen floor as I was helping Dad, or... Those became stories, unfolded like napkins at the dinner table, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, whenever there was a crowd who would laugh, even if I wasn't laughing too. A pigeon has come to listen to me. That was the funniest moment that's happened so far. This was different. Normal. Everyday wrongdoings. Nothing broken but a tiny piece of my heart. Nothing lost. That's really a weird angle, sorry. Except some momentary measure of trust. Nothing split except some tears. As I watch Mom watch me with that look, looking down. You still love me, right? Beth Brody. Okay. There's two pieces from Imperfect, a book about mistakes for teenagers. Let's go into Jacqueline Woodson. I realize I did not explain. Brown Girl Dreaming is essentially a memoir written by her about her life, and it is uniquely powerful in moments. I feel like it really connects to the people who I read it to. My students are consistently like, hey, can we go back to that book? And some of them even decided that it was their time to make me little guys who hold pages. And then those kids left and went to a different school. So I actually haven't gotten this far in the book with any of them. This is when she's more growing up. It's, I want to say, the late 60s, early 70s. Or at least it feels like it. Honestly, it could be the 80s. Or right now. So, here is fate and faith and reasons. Everything happens for a reason, my mother says, then tells me how Kay believed in fate and destiny. Everything that ever happened or was going to happen couldn't have been avoided. The marchers down south didn't just up and start their marching. It was a part of a longer, bigger plan that maybe belonged to God. My mother tells me this as we fold laundry, white towels separated from the colored ones, each a threat to the other. I remember the time I spilled bleach on a blue towel, dotting it forever. The pale pink towel, a memory of when it was washed with a red one. Maybe there is something, after all, to the way that people want to remain. Each to its own kind, but in time, maybe everything will fade to gray. Even all of us coming to Brooklyn, my mother says, wasn't some accident. I can't help thinking of the birds here, how they disappear in the wintertime, heading south for food and warmth and shelter. Heading south to stay alive. Passing us on the way. No accidents, my mother says, just fate and faith and reasons. When I asked my mother what she believes in, she stops midfold. She stops midfold and looks out the back window. Autumn is full here, and the sky is bright blue. I guess I believe in right now, she says, and the resurrection and Brooklyn and the four of us. This is a poem called Bushwick History Lesson. Before German mothers wrapped scarves around their heads, kissed their own mothers goodbye, and headed across the world to Bushwick. Before Italian fathers sailed across the ocean for the dream of America and found themselves in Bushwick. Before Dominican daughters donned quinceañera dresses and walked proudly down Bushwick Avenue. Before young brown boys in cut-off shorts spun their first tops and played their first games of Skelly on Bushwick streets. Before any of that, this place was called Bolshevik, settled by the Dutch. And Franciscus? And Franciscus the Negro, a former slave who bought his freedom. And all of New York was called New Amsterdam, run by a man named Peter Stuyvesant. There were slaves here. Those who could afford to own their freedom lived on the other side of the wall, and now that place is called Wall Street. When my teacher says, "So write down what all of this means to you," our heads bend over our notebooks, the whole class silent, the whole class belonging somewhere. Bushwick. I didn't just appear one day. I didn't just wake up and know how to write my name. I keep writing. Knowing now that I was a long time coming. And finally, the earth from far away. Because I feel like we all need some sort of powerful connection to the world that we live in. And maybe we all need to hear a little bit of positivity and the way to understand everything around us. The earth from far away. Every Saturday morning we run downstairs to the television. Just as the theme song from The Big Blue Marble begins, the four of us sing along. The earth's a big blue marble when you see it from out there. Then the camera is zooming in on that marble, the blue becoming water, then land, then children in Africa and Texas and China and Spain and sometimes New York City. The world close enough to touch now, and children from all over right in our living room, telling us their stories. The sun and moon declare our beauty's very rare. The world, my world, like words. Once there was only the letter J, and my sister's hand wrapped around mine, guiding me, promising me infinity. This big blue marble of world and words and people and places. Inside my head and somewhere out there too. All of it mine now, if I just listen and write it down. This was 11 minutes of time of your Friday. It is 9:12 a.m. This will go up as soon as it can, and it will probably be put up at 9:30 for all of my kids. And for all of the rest of you, I hope that you have a good day and a good weekend, and I will see you next Friday. Hope to see you.